All right, everybody. So this is probably more for the newbies. I mean, I'm still a newbie. I think I just finished up my 6th year. Um, so I consider myself a newbie. Um, so I'm in central Missouri, and you never know what the weather's going to be like. And it's November 8th, 2025, and on November 9th, it's going to be freezing. So it looks like it's teetering around 29 to 31 degrees, and it's going to be cold like that until I believe it's Tuesday morning, about 9, 10 o'clock. Then it gets above freezing, and then we're good for 7 to 10 days, 60s and 70s. So I need to temporarily winterize my equipment, which is real close to doing it like over the season. But so basically, I'm going to drain all my water out. I've got fresh bleach. I just picked it up yesterday. It's 12.5%. 12.5%. That alone won't freeze until about 0 degrees, 0 to 5 degrees, if it is indeed 12.5%. So I don't have anything to worry about on my SH. When I finally winterize for the season, I do drain and pump my SH out, whatever I have left, put it in a barrel, and then put some antifreeze in there. But we're not doing that today because it's not getting that cold. If it was going to get to 0, then I would be doing a total winterization. So today we're lazy. What happens is I do some free Facebook ads, and I got my free Google thing. I'll send out a message saying, there's a season to house washing, get on the list. And invariably, someone will call 4 days before Christmas on 2 days where it gets to 54 degrees and says, I need my house washed. Well, tough. What I normally do is if I get 4 or 5 of those together, then when it does, get halfway warm, I will take my rig out of winterization and go knock those 4 out. But I won't do it just for 1 or 2. And I think they understand that. So I do work during the winter, is what I'm saying. Not every winter. Depends on the weather. Anyway, so I've talked to this issue with other people, and they tell me just to put it in my garage. Well, here's my garage. It's got an 8-foot door, so that's 96 inches, and it's got a 7-foot high, so it's 8 by 7. When I built this trailer, I made sure that it was right at the legal limit to go on a highway, which is 102 inches. So I even compensated for my boxes. So if you were to measure from the outside of this box to the outside of this reel, it would be 101.5. So I have a 101.5 inch rig. It won't fit in a 96-inch opening. So height wise, this is about 7.5 foot. So there's some heated storage units here pretty close to me. They're $360 a month. And so I thought, I'm not doing that. So I'm just doing this. So here's the deal. This is this new manifold that I built. I got a video on it, how it comes out of my tote, splits off here. Notice these are pressure fittings. They've got a little more meat for gluing. I use pressure fittings as much as I can. You'll see here in a second I'm not using it on what I've just built. But basically the water comes out. Of course the tote has its own valve on it. And then I have a drain over here, right there, to a cam fitting. Now this cam fitting, what I've done before, I've got a hose where I can run a hose from here up into my bed of my pickup truck to another tote and tie 2 totes together. I've only done that one time, but that option's there. Then it goes through this screen and then into my pressure washer, soft wash diaphragm pump, and then I have a little hand washer thing here, a little, you know, something I just added. So the main thing we want to do is, the most expensive thing on these rigs are the pressure washer total, but if you break it down even farther, these pumps, you know, you don't have to winterize your air-cooled, you know, engines, but these pumps, you know, I don't know what this one costs now, but when I bought it, it was about $700. This is a TSF 2221, I believe is what it is. What is it? Yeah, 2221. I think it was $700. I think they're over $1,000 now. And then this D30 pump, I forget what it costs. $500 or so, $600 with the gearbox. In the spring, that's coming off. I'm going back to another triple pump, but for now I'm just using this as it is. I only use it for hot mixes. You can see I got a 52 gallons of fresh SH, and that's about it. So my main concern today is winterizing this pump, that pump, and blowing some of this out, and we're good, because it's not going to be like zero. I believe the coldest overnight is going to be 21 or 22. So anyway, so I've got about a third of a tank of water here. I'm just going to drain it out. So this is open. I'm going to run that out right there. Now if I come over here and put a vent in, see, this is at the end of my header, then I'll be able to drain all this out. Actually, the trailer is tilted this way a little bit, so we're good. Any residual water left in the tank will not be in the fittings, and if it's just a little bit on the bottom and freezes, it's not going to break anything. So I'm not worried about the inside of that tank. So I'll get back with you as soon as we're done draining. Hey, while that's draining, I'm going to show you something. If I had a door big enough to get this in, I'm kind of embarrassed to show you this, but look. It wouldn't get in here anyway. The big issue is normally this would be cleaned out, but we just moved about 7 months ago into this house, and this house hasn't been updated since it was built in 1965. And so I put 2 apartments in the basement first, 2 full functioning kitchenettes, everything. One for my son, one for my sister-in-law, and then I went upstairs and redid most everything. I still have to do the bathrooms. That's a winter project. So anyway, that's where I'm standing. Kind of get to see a little bit about me. I'm just, I wouldn't say I'm a hoarder, but I don't throw much away. Thank goodness my garage is on the back side of the street. Alright, here comes the cold rain before the cold weather. But anyway, I wanted you to look in this tank. It's drained. There's probably an inch of water on the bottom. But if that was to freeze, it would raise upward. It wouldn't, there'd be a little bit on the sides, but not enough to break anything. But on my final winterization, I do put a little bit of antifreeze in there and slosh it around, just a tiny bit, because I don't care if it freezes really, but just in case. And also here, while I'm at it, people have asked me before about how I do the 2 levels of water. So I have a Hudson down where it turns off when this tank is half full, and then I had a Hudson right here at the very end of this bulkhead, and it would turn it off about 6 inches below the top of the tank. But what I've done this whole year is I took this one off, and for 90% of my jobs, having a half tank is plenty. So I just run that. When I do see that I'm drawing more water and need more water, I will switch it over to here with my three-way valve right there. I will switch it to this side, which has no valve on it at all. And yeah, I got to keep an eye on it, but it will fill my tank up really quick, a lot quicker than going through a Hudson that's stuck right here. So for a whole year I've had that off, and I don't see why I'd go back to putting a fill valve right here. So my tank's done running out. I'm going to turn that valve off right here. So now I've isolated the tank from my header, and now I've got to get antifreeze in here. So let me tell you, the problem is if I fill that tank up with enough antifreeze where it gets up to the top of this fitting inside, it's several gallons, and I'm just wasting it. I don't need that. So last year I was like, what can I do? And I thought of the idea last year after I was all done. And so here's what I've made. So I have this standpipe and banjo fitting that's going to go right here, like so. Oh, I'm having trouble getting on there. All right. And now I can fill this with antifreeze and be up higher than this equipment. And then I'm going to just either idle or just turn the pump over, have these hoses off until I see antifreeze coming out, especially this pump. Like I said, next year that pump's gone, but I still want to protect it. I might end up selling that to somebody. All right, so take all these off. Now these are going to be blown out. Everything that I can blow out will be blown out. I just removed some of these, and I'll blow the rest of that out. Okay, so I use compressed air in one of these little things with a rubber end on it. Let's do this one. I was talking to one of my subscribers. I was telling him that I was sent a one-wire hose. I ordered a 2-wire and they sent me a 1-wire. They gave me back the difference, but I kept it because I needed the hose, and I love 1-wire hoses. Now, just to keep me out of trouble, every year I buy 200 feet brand new, so I don't have any problems. But man, this is so much lighter and easier to pull. It's worth the $350 or so for a new hose. Anyway, so I'm gonna start blowing the crap out here. See what comes out. Okay, which one's that? Let's see what this one is. There we go. Stuff out of there. You know, if I wanted to, I could take all this apart. I might take this off. Just set it on there like that. So I got that. Let's go over here to my soft wash here and open here. I think I can blow in this side here, and it will go out and blow this one out. Yep. Whatever it takes. Now I know I'm not going to get all that out. What I do is, when I do it for the final time in the winter, I will put a little bit of antifreeze in it and I will blow it through, thinking the antifreeze will settle in the lower parts. And I think it does, because I haven't had one freeze up in 5 years. So this is my sixth 6 winter. I don't know why this ain't coming on. I'm going to blow my pressure washing hose out. I'll probably let that settle and do it again, but you get the idea. Now this is the feed to my downstream injector. That's 12.5% in there. At this point, it's water. This is how I get a bucket of clean water, and I drop this in, turn my 3-way valve, and I will rinse my check valve out, downstream injector assembly. I'm gonna put this over here on the water because I know water's in there now, because the last thing I did was rinse it. So I'm gonna blow that water out. That looks, I'm gonna put that back on here. Do it this way. Looked like some was coming out here too. Yeah. Looks good. All right, so now I'm going to blow my 25 foot of whatever you want to call it, buffer hose on my soft wash system. Also, it helps in keeping the temperature down when you're off the gun. Really, that should be in the tank, looped around several times into that your buffer tank. That way it cools off and you can be off the gun a little longer. But anyway, so I'm just gonna blow that out. Put this, I'm gonna blow it out, get most of it out of there. Whoa, woohoo! All right. Let me show you what you might forget about. That's going to have water in it. Open it up. Like so. That one. Now you could take it in, but I'm showing you the lazy man's way. I do take it in on my last winterization. Put those down so it don't fill with water. And then probably the most important thing not to forget is right here. You know, I just spent, I don't know, what was $160 rebuilding that. But let's not forget about it. So the way that's set up, it should drain anyway, but just for the heck of it. And don't forget to blow out your garden hose. Do what you can. So you guys probably already saw that I'm using automotive antifreeze. Now this is the full strength concentrate, not pre-diluted 50-50. Why do I use that? Because I know I'm not getting all the water out of stuff. So if I use this straight and it hits some water, let's say 50-50, 60-40, you know, 40-60, whatever, I'm still going to have protection down to about minus 30 degrees. Now, if I take something that's already diluted, if this was 50-50 and put in here, and it gets diluted again 50-50, then I'm losing protection. there's virtually no water in this pump the way I blew it out. But what I'm going to do is I pour in here. This is my inlet to the pump. So it locks up there, you can see, and I just pull on my cord. Pumps it in. I do that till it comes out over here on my outlet. So that's what I do. So it's just coming out over here. I'm going to do it one more time because that's not green, that's still water. So we'll go like this. Still water. So I'm just going to repeat that process till my diaphragms are flush with water and antifreeze comes out. It's getting a little slick, so I know there's antifreeze mixing in there. A couple more times. Oh, it's pretty slick. One more time, I'm going to be done with this one. Okay. Pull that in. Shooting out over there. And then just to keep dirt out of it, I'm just going to put this on like that. All right, we're getting to the pressure washer now. This is the last thing I got to run some antifreeze through. So I'm going to start it for about, I don't know, 10 seconds and see if I have any water left in there, and then shut it off. If I start it up and I don't see anything coming out of the outlet, then I'll just immediately shut it back off. So you see I had some actual water in the head of the pump. So now what I'm going to do is this the one? Okay, I want to pour this in, and I don't know, it might take 2 gallons to you know, build this head up here, and then pull it into the pump. Okay, so we are about right here. Yep, it's kind of burping, but basically about halfway on the standpipe. Now I'm going to leave my throttle off, and hopefully it won't start, but it might. This thing usually likes choke, and I'm going to crank it over until some antifreeze comes out here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, still there. Okay, she's down. Gonna take another gallon. Yeah, since I had it on idle, normally it wouldn't start at idle, but I guess I cranked it long enough it did. So, which isn't bad, as long as everything doesn't heat up. Obviously it's not dry. So got about that much antifreeze in it. Yeah, it's not quite slick enough. Let's see. Yep, we're down. All right, built up to about there. Go again. There we go, it changed colors. Nice and slick. All right, so we are protected. And so what I'll do is when I go to drain this out, I'll fill this up with water and flush this. I'll stick some kind of hose over this and run it into a bucket, and able to maybe save some of it. But that's why I use the automotive. You can use whatever you want. You can leave a negative comment down below, whatever. Something I want to tell you guys is I don't ever ask for any money. Jokingly, I'll say send me $1 million, and that's fine if you do that. But what I would like for you to do is to subscribe and share my channel, because on the backside of the YouTube creators, we can see how many people view, we can see how many people subscribe, and there's a percentage, and only about 1% of my views are subscribers. So people will come and view whatever, and then they're done. But what helps me out is if you learn anything, you don't have to send me money unless you send me the $1 million. We're good. You don't have to send me anything. If you just wouldn't mind subscribing and then sharing the channel, and that would help me out more than anything. And so just do that. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Just put them down below. And so also give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Either one, YouTube counts it as part of their algorithm. So I could have all sorts of negative thumbs down, and that still helps my channel. So I don't care which one you do. So anyway, that's about it. I do hope you learned a little bit. And if you have any other suggestions, just leave them down below, and I try to answer everybody's comments. And sometimes I can't, but I try to. So I appreciate y'all following me for so long. You're my subscribers already, and look forward to seeing my subscriptions go up. Talk to you later. Bye.